Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to start a new series called Fixing the Sims 4 with Mods. Today's topic is going to focus on personality. A year ago, we got a feature for likes and dislikes. However, you can only have about 20 dislikes or likes for a sim. Zerbu's unlimited likes and dislikes mod allows you to have unlimited amount of likes and dislikes, so you can really build upon your sim's personality. We have our sim Braxton here, and you'll see currently when I click on the different categories, I've selected 58, and you can really go in and pick as many as you want. The great thing about likes and dislikes is your sim will get different emotions or buffs related to activities or music or even decor that they've liked or disliked based on your options. Now, this is a great mod for allowing your sims to actually have emotions based on their experiences throughout their sim life. So, for example, if a sim is often confident, it will build up that across time. If they're sad, that will build up across time, angry, and so on and so forth. Also, sims will have effects based on their financial status, their age changes, and various other things. Once you've installed the experiences mod, you'll notice under the skills tab, there's these different skills for experiences: confident, energized, flirty, focused, inspired, playful, sad, and shame. So every time you experience an emotion within the game, you will level up this skill. And so this is very helpful in developing a personality for your sim because, as I stated before, experiencing these different things across your sim's life will build up the level. So if your sim is often sad, it will build up this experience. And if it goes all the way up to level 5, your sim will get a lot of buffs throughout their life, making them sad. And it will change this emotion over here. So this makes it so that you want to pay attention to the actual emotion of your sim while you're playing your game. Right now, my sim is focused, and it is currently increasing the focus experience. The last mod for Zobu in this video is going to be the Simology mod. Now, this is similar to likes and dislikes. It actually predates likes and dislikes. This was created about 3 years ago. This actually allows you to set certain emotions for certain activities that you're doing. Okay, so while he's playing chess, I'm going to decide an emotion for him. So I'm going to click on him, click more choices, click actions, and then you'll see here it says playing chess. So when I click that, I can click set emotion, and this menu comes up. So now I can decide if he gets angry from playing chess, bored, confident, so on. So you can set how the sim feels. Now this really helps with realism because you have different emotions tied to your activity. Some people may love chess, some people may hate it. This sim will say gets inspired. So you'll notice now he has this liked activity inspired moodlet. You can also use Simology to set your Sim's default emotion. So by default, Sims are fine until a mood strikes them. If you want to make them have a tied emotion, click action, and then you'll see this menu, weaknesses and other modifiers. Click that, and then you can choose their default emotion. So you can choose by default if they're an angry sim, if you want some that's just by default angry, by default bored, confident, dazed, embarrassed, flirty. This really can also help with making the personality of each sim unique. So we'll say by default, this sim is playful. So you'll see he has the playful moodlet. And And so he'll have that moodlet until something else happens. Now, this moodlet you'll see we got from before when we were 10th is lingering because of Roberki's Meaningful Stories mod. The Meaningful Stories mod is a mod that redesigns the mood and emotion system of the Sims 4. So once an emotion is once your sim experiences an emotion, it will linger even after it expires. So let's say your sim becomes sad because um, they get into an argument or they see someone get into an argument that they love. Once they can have that buff expire after a certain amount of time, and then they'll have lingering sadness. Same thing with anger, happiness, and so on. Also, there's true happiness. So that as stated, Sims will no longer be happy just by default. They will only feel truly happy when something worthy of happiness happens. There's also emotional inertia. So there's a lot of things that this mod contributes to for having your Sims have a more realistic personality and reactions to things going on in the game. You'll see here, my 10th Sim, they have lingering tension from becoming tense. Our next mod is the Have Some Personality Please mod by Polar Bear Sims. So the great thing about this mod is it takes a lot of resources that are in the game and makes them autonomous, which gives your Sims more personality. You can read the different spoilers that they have listed to see all of the changes that have been made across the years. There's an add-on for romance, for cats and dogs to give them more personality, for toddlers. But the main mod essentially makes different things in the game that weren't autonomous before autonomous. So your Sims will get to know other Sims, they'll apologize, they'll discuss interests. For romance, they will confess attraction, do pickup lines, flirt. For mean interactions, they'll do pranks. They'll pester. They'll declare independence if they're teens. For playful, they'll flash crazy eyes. For funny, they'll tell outrageous stories, joke about old times. So this again takes a lot of things that are in the game that Sims usually have to be directed to do and make them autonomous, so they'll do it on their own. And again, that helps with the personality of the Sim. Next, we have the trait overhaul mod by Bienshin. This mod takes the traits in the game and make them a lot more meaningful. It increases their autonomy for certain actions. As explained here, some negative moodlets have been doubled to make them more visible. Positive and negative trait moodlets may affect how fast your Sims gain skills or relationships in either direction, and certain traits will get more aspiration points from fulfilling whims. They also affect reading and crafting. So this really takes the traits in the game and really makes them make more of a difference for your Sims and their personality and skill level. Okay, the next several mods will be all by Vicky Sims. Vicky Sims makes a lot of really great mods for increasing Sims' personality, making them get special traits, and we'll cover all of that now. Okay, so next we're going to look at the Balanced Life mod. This mod overrides Sims' ages and emotions for a more realistic metabolism, weight control, emotions, needs, skills, relationships, economy to clean, and so on and so forth. For this mod, I suggest downloading Lupanu's mod pack. Lupanu's mod pack is a mod that allows you to have additional moods that are not in the default game that they've created. And this mod is actually used by a lot of other mods, so I highly suggest downloading it. For Balanced Life, it will increase the thresholds for extreme emotions. Now expect your Sims to have longer and more sadness, less happiness, and more realistic proportions between positive and negative. So one of the criticisms of the default game is that the Sims are always happy. Along with the mods we mentioned previously, like the Roberki, this will work in tandem with it, and we have a much more realistic experience. And you can go through and you can see the different items that they changed. So adults, young adults and elders were clean more, children and teens less, more autonomy for young adults and adults, less for teens and elders. You'll see that. Emotions, you'll see there's different decay. So based on your age range, certain buffs will decay faster or slower. Also based on traits, relationships will develop faster or slower based on different age groups and so on. Also, autonomy is affected. So age groups are more likely to interact with their own age, less so likely with those in different. And you can read all of this on Vicky Sims' Google site. You can actually download the mod on Patreon. And there's two versions, the default and the one with no metabolism. You can use the no metabolism if you're using Roborki's fitness controls setting. The next mod by Vicky Sims we have is their Balance Moodlets mod. And this mod, they've edited the visible buffs to make time duration and intensity more reasonable. So things like that are food related, for example, will have a lower intensity, and then more important or powerful events in the Sims game will have more powerful moodlets. So, for example, club vibes, death buffs, strength, hiking, jealousy buffs, mirror buffs, all of these things listed have been edited. They've also made it so that you can choose certain things. So, for example, powerful life events, original or longer, how the environment affects Sims, fine or inspired, social, good socials, fine or happier, high needs, emotional or fine. And you can really pick between those options. You'll want to pay close attention in the downloads folder when you're downloading this to the things that have two different options, because you only want to pick one. And again, the download for this particular mod will be on Vicky Sims' Patreon page. Okay, this next mod by Vicky Sims is their traits overhaul. Now, this traits overhaul is a little bit different from the one by Bienshin. This one is more focused on editing the buff instead of the actual trait, the buff associated with the trait. And this one has different things like moods and buff decays, and it really does make a difference in far as being much more realistic as far as the traits are concerned. And you can download this from their Patreon. Next, we have their traits remade in CAS mod. Now, this particular mod allows you to have certain reward traits in CAS for you to assign to your Sims in CAS itself. And this is helpful because it has additional whim and gameplay effects. And so instead of having to rack up reward points, you can just automatically assign this to your Sims when you're creating them in Create a Sim. There's also trait pickers that Vicky Sims has created. So if you want to, when you're already in the game, add these traits, you can add them. So the Google Sites page here will describe it. So they basically remade 50 plus in-game reward traits. And each trait has its own animations, gameplay features, impact on character values and reputation on NPCs, and whims added, available for children plus. So it allows you to create a greater variety of Sims. Speaking of variety, you'll also want to use the next mod, which is their more cast traits mod. So by default, you only have a certain amount of traits that you can assign to each of your Sims. With this particular mod, you can actually increase that number. Now, this is in a zip file because you will get to choose, there's different options. They also have an option to disallow human traits for pets, which I use. And you'll see once you download this file and you open it in your unzipping program, I'm using WinWare, you'll see there's a lot of different options. You can have up to 30 traits. Now that might be a lot for your sim to have, but if you like, you can go up that high. And the Sims, the way it works is they automatically assign any trait marked as a personality trait for your sim. So any custom traits or any traits that have been marked as personality will be assigned to your sim automatically. And they have from 1 all the way up to 30. So you can pick your desired one. I usually go with 6. I like 6, and I usually assign additional traits with reward traits, but that's your preference. Next, we're going to move on to Lupinal's Talents and Weaknesses mod. This allows you to assign talents and weaknesses to your Sims or have them auto assigned. So, for example, if you want a Sim to be talented at gardening or talented at playing video games and have a weakness of fitness, you can do so. So, once the mod is installed and you click on your Sim, you can then click on the actions button and you'll see here talents, weaknesses, and blocked skills. You can add a talent. So for example, we're going to make this sim talented at comedy. And then you can also add a weakness. You can also add a weakness. You can also add a weakness by clicking talents, weaknesses, and block skills, and then add a weakness. So this sim is weak or struggles with fitness. So by adding a talent and a weakness, the talent will allow your sim to quickly level up that particular skill when they're performing. So if this sim were to perform different funny interactions, they would level up quicker than you would be default. For fitness, they would then level up lower. You can also you can also allow your sim to develop a talent or weakness on their own. You can also set cheat. You can also have cheats to have your sim acquire all EA skills 2 times faster or half as fast. You can also set skills to a certain level. In addition to talents and weaknesses, I actually suggest going and downloading all of Lupinal's mods for personality. For example, they have a mod called First Impressions. This allows your Sims to develop a first impression when they're meeting Sims. Things like, do they like me too? Good people, I don't like you. And they will have negative or positive sentiments using the sentiments feature that came. And your Sims will be able to develop first impression based sentiments based on their interaction with other Sims. They may like the Sim upon first impression, or they may dislike them. And then you can decide with the different options whether This sentiment will expire over time or it will be permanent until it's replaced by another sentiment. There's also the open love life mod that allows you to have approved side partners, three-way couples, or polyamorous relationships in general. There's also the relationship and pregnancy overhaul, also known as Woohoo Wellness. This mod allows you to have more realistic pregnancy as far as preferences, teen pregnancy. It also has interactions for feeding, adoption, separations, woohoo transmitted diseases, and you can pretty much choose each module that you like to use. So if you like to use just the pregnancy options and not the other ones, you can delete those other modules when you download. There's also add-ons for pregnancy side effects, pregnancy loss and complications, and terminating your pregnancy. There's the Road to Romance mod that allows you to have romance as a skill that you level up to, and certain interactions are available. And again, they have their mood pack where you can have various moods that they created that are not in the default game. Things such as proud, affectionate, shocked, insecure. So I highly suggest going through Lupin's mods and downloading them all. They all give you great effects for sim personality. Next, we have the personality mod by Missy Hissy. Now, this will allow you to select between 6 reward traits inspired by Sim 2 aspiration. So your sim will get whims based on the type of sim you select them as in the reward store: family sim, fortune sim, knowledge, pleasure, popularity, romance. So based on this selection, your sim will get different wants, formerly known as whims, now called wants, such as want to watch a movie with family, ask to move in, dine out with the sim, go out on the town. All of these things would be based on the type of sim that they are selected as. And this really does give your sims more personality because their wants will correlate to their actual personality trait that you. Missy Hissy also has the hopes and fears mod. So just like there's wants in the game and fears, this will give you custom wants and fears. So this will really make your sim have a lot more personality. Now, Bienshin has a whim overhaul that conflicts with this mod, so you may want to just be careful with that. Nothing bad will happen if you have both files. It's just you won't get the full potential of the mod because they both edit the same win sets in certain places. It also will conflict with any mod that edits Fear of the Dark because there's different whims that or wants and fears that come with this particular mod. Misty SC also has the hobby mod. So this has 14 reward traits inspired by the Sims 2 free time. So here you can assign different hobbies for your sim, and your sim will then get wants, and they also will have interactions based on their hobby. So, for example, if you assign your sim as a film and literature hobby, they will actually blog about, in my experience, film and literature. You can have them do it by your control, or they will do it autonomously. They also have a fashion and beauty hobby, cuisine, arts and crafts, fitness, games, learning, and discovery. So again, these things are created or assigned to your sim in the reward store. So in the reward store, you can select the type of sim. So this sim will be a pleasure sim. And then their hobby. This sim will be a fitness. I'm sorry, this sim will be a film and liter. This sim will be a learning and discovery hobby based sim. This sim's hobby will be learning and discovery. This sim's hobby will be film and literature. And they will then, on the left, get different wants based on their hobby. They will also have new interaction. And the final mod we can look at, the final mod we will look at by Missy Hissy is their custom wants mod, a package of custom wants. So similar to the wants mods we just looked at, this will have new mods based. This will have new based on the mods we just looked at. Similar to the mods we just looked at, this will create custom wants for your sim based on what's selected. So they may want to start a knitting project, watch a movie with family, become a freelancer, own a business, go out on the town. All of these custom wants will are based on existing traits in the game. So with this particular mod, you don't have to assign any specific rewards. It will just happen based on their different personality traits that are already. This will already automatically be as these will automatically be assigned based on traits that were already selected for the sim in the game. Previously, we discussed Vicky Sims mod to have more traits selected, be able to be selected in cast. This particular mod by the Pancake One and Missouri Yuki will allow you to actually choose up to 5 traits in cast and see them in this here. So by default, you only have 3 showing in the UI. Here you have 5. You even if you don't if you're going to use this mod, you will want to download at least one version of more traits in cast. Oh. If you're going to use Vicky Sims version, you'll want to use the Chingu. You'll want to use if you're going to use the Vicky Sims version, you're going to want to use the compatible version here. Otherwise, you can use its first version, which increases the which increases the number of traits that can be selected as described here. This mod will increase the amount of traits up to 5 for elders, adults, and young adults, 4 for teens, 3 for children, and 2 for toddlers. If you like more than that, you can use the Vicky Sims version we discussed previously, and you can use this compatible version of the mod. Next, we have Shimrod Happy Buffs changed to fine. Now, I'm showing you on the version that was the original on The Sims. Um, Unfortunately, Shimrod is no longer with us. However, there was an update did. So, you can read the description here, but only download it from the version that was linked in the comments that was provided here in the comments section. Updated here. And then it was updated again here by the Next, we have the Happy Buff change to fine. Now, this was originally created by Shimrod, who is no longer with us. It has now been updated by Bienshin. I will include a link to the updated version in the description so you can download the most current version. Do not download it from here on Mod The Sims because this is not the updated version. This is just where we can see the description. So a lot of um, a lot of the game's criticism is a lot of people criticize the game for Sims being constantly happy. And a big reason for that constant happiness is the environment score that the Sims a big reason a big reason that Sims are often happy is because of the environment score that the game assigns. So whenever the Sims are in an environment that is considered nicely decorated or beautifully decorated, they will get a happy moodlet that is very powerful. What this mod does is it turns down that happiness by changing all of those happy moods to fine. So now your Sims will constantly be fine instead of being constantly happy. And that will create a lot more of a realistic experience. Next, we're going to take a look at a collaborative mod by Zero and Bloodfire Mage called MBTI Personality. This is a mod based on the Myers-Briggs type indicator test for personalities. So this mod works by allowing your sim to go on the web, take the MBTI test, and determine their personality. You can also attempt to type other sims like NPCs and determine their personality. Based on their personality, sims will have a better chance of developing certain skills, or they'll have a difficulty with certain skills. It also affects personality traits and relationships. So, for example, if two different sims have personality traits that are an ideal match, their friendship and romance will decay slower. That also occurs for kindred match. On the opposite end, for challenging matches, friendship and romance decay faster. For polar matches, friendship decays faster and romance decays slower. Also, Zero has introduced cognitive functions to change how the mod works in a way so that there's the ability to develop the mod is very the mod very realistically develops Sim's personality traits based on different functions already existing in the game. The final mod for this particular part is the Lifelong Happiness mod by Sunshine Sugar. This is a fairly new mod, but it's very effective in developing a personality for your Sims. So you can decide on three different options: short for short lifespans, medium for medium lifespans, and long for longer or more hardcore gameplay. So what this mod does is every time your Sim is happy or sad, they get certain satisfaction points that are geared towards their overall life satisfaction. And if they reach the stage of being very satisfied over the course of their life, they will get a reward trait that matches that. If they're unsatisfied, they will get a reward trait for their sadness. And elders who have happiness throughout their life will get a good life trait. Points are tracked at each life stage of your sim. And this really gives you, as the author states, consequences on the way you play. Because if you allow your sim to be sad throughout their life, often it will affect their overall demeanor as they get older. Hey, thank you so much for watching. This is part one of Fixing the Sims with Mods, focusing on personalities, and part two will continue with using mods to fix sim autonomy. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any videos. Thank you, and see you next time.